Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Well, I am back. I have been gone for a few weeks because I have been super busy. I posted just a little kind of teaser video. I had helped my son and daughter-in-law move into their new home and kind of get the kitchen unpacked and worked on their pantry. And then I got so inspired to work on my own pantry that I decided I'm going to kind of combine and share with you some of my pantry ideas and how I put theirs together. Similar pantries, as they're both walk-ins, but constructed differently, and some of the minor issues that I found along the way and how I kind of worked around them and put them together. So I thought what I would do first is, because I took some footage of just some video that after I had put everything together. So this is some footage of my son and daughter-in-law's pantry that I worked on. And this is also a walk-in pantry, and it has solid wood shelving built, and I covered the shelving up with just vinyl, and it's not the contact vinyl, it's just you cut it, measure it out, cut it, and lay it down. And I used the marbleized pattern, and it looks really pretty on the white. It just kind of saves the pantry from, getting marked up. And the difficulty I had with this pantry is that the front side of the pantry, the shelving that came out, measured a certain depth, and then on the side it was different. So I couldn't put the baskets long ways on the part of the pantry that faces as you open the door. So I just had to do a little adjusting with what I used, and these are some baskets that I get from Walmart, and they're great. I love the size of them. I love the sturdiness of them, and as you can see on some of the shelving, I did have to turn it sideways, but they have lots of room in there. Of course, with them moving, their pantry stock is a little bit down, but they had room on their floor for bigger items and their recycling bins, and it was really a neat little pantry to put together. I used the sliding stackable, I guess they're spice racks, but cans fit beautifully on them. A couple of baskets I picked up at Walmart so that they could add, just whatever it is that they needed to, but they have plenty of room in that pantry. And I'm showing you a close-up of the pattern on the vinyl. They have those vinyl rolls come in all kinds of designs. And here are the Lazy Susans. I think it's great to add Lazy Susans if you have the space in the pantry. Contains your bottles. You can see easily what you have on them. You can use them for all kinds of even spices. It works great. And they have quite a bit of storage space in there. And then some of my own pantry. I have done other videos on my pantry, constructing it. And I think what's important when you're doing a pantry is to keep it updated. So about every 3 months, I like to go in there and kind of rehaul, take things out that I know, okay, this bottom bag of chips that's been kind of stuck at the bottom there, it's time to kind of get rid of it if I haven't seen it before that time, and just kind of regroup. But along the way, I also ran into a couple of issues in my pantry where I felt like my floor was just getting too crowded with just stuff, and I didn't like that. So after I did my son and daughter-in-law's pantry, I liked the way it came out, and a couple of baskets that I used for their stuff, and I thought, yep, that's what I need to do, and I need to get those baskets up on little risers that I call risers, but they're kind of like those little shelf inserts that you just kind of put inside your cupboards, or They're cupboard inserts, and then you have 2 layers. So anyways, I will show pictures of those and what I how I just organized it and put everything together. But I thought I would also share with you a couple of tips about putting a pantry together. Now, this is for a pantry that's basically more of a walk-in, or if you have a cupboard pantry that's like a closet kind of style. I've had those types of pantries in my house before. This one I actually have extra little bit of storage room where I can actually walk into the pantry, so of course it gives me a little bit more room, or a whole lot more room. But what I thought I would do is share with you a couple of tips for those just long cupboard pantries that are just like a utility cupboard that might be from floor up to the doorway. Those are basically just a couple of layers of shelves, and if you're lucky enough, there's solid shelves in there, and you just have to be kind of strategic as to what you're placing in your pantry and how to store it. Now, I tend to use drawers for my spices. If you don't have the extra drawers, then depending on, you have to assess what type of cook are you. Do you cook a lot? Do you use a lot of spices? Is it something that you just have a few of, and then make that assessment as to, what or how you want to use those spices. Some people like their spices on their counters, and so there's all kinds of spice racks that you can get for that. I know that in the past I have had extra drawer space, so I like to be able to pull the drawers out, lay the spices down, because I have a lot of my spices in jars, and just kind of lay them so they're laying flat and not upright, and then they fit very nicely into the drawers. Now, I like to put it in a drawer that's right next to my cooking station. And so there are others who just like to buy spice racks and line their spices up. So first of all, what you need to do is assess what it is that you're going to put in your pantry and how you're going to store your spices. What I think is important is not to mix your spices for food, like savory foods, with your baking spices. I try to keep those totally separate. And what I like to store in my, I call them my spice bins or spice baskets, and I'll insert a picture here showing you the baskets that I use in my pantry, and I've actually lined those baskets up on top that have all of my baking needs, such as baking powder, baking soda, my jello mixes, pudding mixes, anything that I would use for baking, I pretty much have on that top rack all together. And then I have a cupboard in the kitchen where I have separated those particular spices from my really, I don't intermix the savory spices with my baking spices. The few extra that I have, I just have in one of those clear baskets, and I keep them all together with all my baking stuff. And then there are some spice jars that I have that I buy in the large bottles. Sometimes I order them on Amazon, sometimes I get them from my favorite spice store, and they come in larger containers. And so I'll use a turntable, and I'll insert a picture of my turntables in the cupboards, and it's so handy, and you can even stack certain things on top of each other because of the height. But I like to store those bigger containers on those turntables, and I've designated a cupboard right by my gas stove top so that I can have those spices available, and then right below it is a drawer that I have all my other spices in, and it is very handy to do that. And I think turntables are a great addition to a pantry or to a cupboard for storage. Another container that I like to use are these plastic containers here. Now, these I purchased at Walmart. Sometimes I've purchased them at Sam's. It just depends. Is there a stack of them that's on sale? Am I just looking for a particular size? Now, over the years, I have collected these, and especially since I've moved to the South, there's like a different bug population here, and I like to take all of my like rices, beans, flour, sugar, and I like to put them into containers, especially ones that have a really secure lid to them. I want to keep the bugs out, and I want to be able to see what I have available. And I also use and I'm going to list everything below. This is a sticker that I purchased through Amazon. I also purchased some of these stickers from Etsy shops. So just kind of a combination. I like the way this looks. It's really big. It fits nicely on these containers, and I like them labeled. I think it kind of adds that nice little charm, and you don't have to play a guessing game as to what you have inside. This happens to be arborio rice, and I use this kind of rice to make risotto. Another thing I do, I will just clip off the instructions for the rice here, and I'll just lay it down inside the container so that it's there. I do that with oatmeal, cream of wheat, just for the basics, and then everything is sealed nicely and it will last a long time. Now, these containers, I love them. As I've stated, sometimes if I'm at Target, and with gift card, I might purchase the OXO brand. If I'm at Sam's and they've got them on sale, I'll purchase like a mix of them. You know, some might be for cereal, some might be for snacks, some are tall, some are short. I have just collected over the years different sizes, so I have a great assortment of them because several years ago I started to want to keep everything either in jars or containers that have a nice sealed lid on them. So I didn't just go out and decide, okay, I'm going to redo my pantry, because that can be very expensive. But you know, I just always kept in mind on a shopping trip, you know, once a month, or I would pick up a couple of these containers, and I kind of knew, okay, I have some different variety of rices or beans, so I know the size that I want. Love these for that. You know, if you can buy them all at one time because you've not stored like that, it's first of all, saves on your food because they're sealed really well, and it saves on space. So these come in super handy. And also, I have recently purchased these baskets, and these are, let me see, I always say the wrong name on these. Oh, I took the sticker off. They're not Stairlight. I get them at Walmart. I will list them below. They have kind of this little lacy print on them. They have cutouts for your hands. They're very sturdy, and why I like these particular baskets is because they're very flat and even on the bottom. They don't have the bulkiness on top, and sometimes, you know, I still have a couple of those baskets that have a broader, thicker handle, and that just kind of takes up more room. These I love, and these come in large, medium, and small. I get them at Walmart, and I really like them. And I did also replace a couple of my older ones that were mismatched and had a little couple of cracks in them, so I did go out and purchase a couple of those just when I was regrouping. And another well, it's just, you don't have to do this. This just kind of adds that little bit of charm, and it just kind of you know, labels what you have. So with these little tags, these are Hampton Art, and I picked these up at Walmart, and I go ahead and just tie them with a little bit of jute onto the basket. I took a little calligraphy pen I had. These are like chalkboard tags, so the calligraphy pens work really well, and just labeled what the basket is for. It just kind of adds a little bit of charm. It makes them look a little bit neat inside the pantry. Also, I have, these are chalkboard labels. I purchased these also at Walmart. And again, you can write on here, but these have sticky backs. So if you want to make your own labels, you can make your own sticky, put them on, and then label what's in them. So there's a whole bunch of different labels that you can buy if that's what you want, or you don't have to do anything at all. Now, I worked on two different pantries. My son and daughter-in-law's pantry actually was built with solid wood shelving, which is so nice because everything stays nice and even, and it was great. But for my pantry, I have the wire racks, and those wire racks, it's very difficult to keep things nice and even and remove things easily because they're the wire racks. I mean, they're great for big solid you know, bins, such as, I'll show you these that I have up there. It's great. And those are the same kind of wire rack shelving that I have in the pantry. So what I did is I picked up these from Dollar Tree, and these are chopping mats, and these work wonderful inside, or I'm sorry, these work great on top of the racks. Everything stays nice and even, and if you have baskets, they slide off and on easily, and it's very sturdy. So even if you are to line up cans and you don't have them on those a spice rack or a can rack, or you know, you're just lining them up, these work great. I use this type of cutting mat in my utility cupboard in my linen closet. I use them in my pantry, and I use them anywhere where I have those rack shelving. So for my son and daughter-in-law's pantry, since they had the solid wood, what I did was I purchased some vinyl rolls at Walmart. Target has them, Walmart has them, the Lowe's has them. Anybody, you know, those vinyl rolls are everywhere, and they come in all kinds of different styles. But I lined the inside of the cupboards and the drawers, and also lined on top of their wooden shelving that was in their utility cabinet. And their cupboards were painted all white, and their utility cabinet was painted all white. And so that vinyl is so nice because it just kind of protects the wood and keeps the wood, you know, clean, and things don't stick to it, and there's no sticky back on that. That's not a contact paper type sticky vinyl. It's just a roll, and you cut it the size of your shelving and just place it on top. Some people like them. I like them. Some people don't. They think that they're cumbersome, or you know, they might move around, but I've not had any problems with them, and I really love them because they keep the inside of everything easy, and they're nice to wipe up. So these particular things, baskets, canisters, and these for your wire shelving, a lot of people have those wire shelving, work great. And what I do is I just line them up depending on the length of your shelving, either this way, horizontally or vertically, and they can overlap. They'll lay flat, especially when you start placing your items on there. And another tip is, you do have to go in and clean out your pantry, and I think every 3 months is really gives you a good clean out. It gives you a chance to remove everything, especially from the floor area. And what I did was I made some extra room in the garage on a couple of shelves, and I took some really big, bulky cookware that I had been storing on the very top shelf, and I thought I need to use that space, and I need to clear up my floor space. Sometimes when you walk in the pantry, I feel like, it's just jumping out at me, it's taking over, and I don't, it just never seemed organized. And then of course, when you're busy in the summer, you have company and you're doing extra cooking, and you're buying extra food, sometimes that just becomes a catch-all. So I was happy to get in there. I was so motivated after putting their pantry together. And of course, they had been, they had to move out of their home that they sold and go to a condo for a couple of months. So they were really trying to use up and utilize everything that they had at home. So their pantry pretty much was kind of bare when I got to put it together. So it made it really simple to line things up. But have a good start and a good base for them, and they were really happy with it. For them, they don't really need to have stickers put on things or names, but I went ahead and did it anyways because I like the way it looks. And these are a couple of different stickers that I purchased, and I did get these on Amazon, and I will link it below. And I just got a couple of different sizes and varieties, and they had about every sticker that I could possibly use. And sometimes when you're cleaning or wiping, these might get a little bit tore up after a while, so you can just take them off and put a new one in. Or if you're going to use your canister for something else, put a new sticker on it. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to share with you and show you some of the video and pictures that I took of my pantry and my daughter-in-law and sons, and I'm going to kind of explain how I put things together. But you will see in my pantry that I use every vertical space I can on the walls, every horizontal space I pretty much can, and it just sometimes takes a little bit of doing when it comes to where you want things. What do you want to access easily? I have to put certain things up front because I do that for my mom, because she gets overwhelmed with walking into the pantry trying to find something. So I try to label everything for her that says oatmeal, cream of wheat, her cereals, her snacks that she likes. So you just have to put your pantry together that suits your family's needs. And I think it helps keep you organized. It helps you make a grocery list a lot easier. It's so easy for me, especially when I'm doing seasonal baking and I'm not just routinely baking, that okay, what do I need? What new spices do I need? Do I have enough cinnamon? Do I have nutmeg? Do I need this or that? It's so easy to make a list, and I keep a pad and pencil or pen in my pantry, and I just add to it as I know I'm using something up. And it does help cut back on your groceries. It's a great way to organize. It's a great way to get in there and fix a meal plan if that's what you want to do. Even if it's for just a few days, you can see easily what you have there. Keeping your freezer drawers and your freezers organized helps put meals together. So you can come up with a really great list for the grocery store. And also, I think another thing that's important is to just go through, check dates, and anything that you may have purchased that has been sitting there for eons and you have not used it, you're not going to use it, then get rid of it. But I made more floor space for myself in the pantry. It seemed like it cleaned it up. I regrouped some of our drinks together, and I had to make some space for my bigger cooking utensils that I use, like my Instant Pot and my pasta maker, that I don't use every day, but I use frequently enough that I want to have it accessible. And these are items that don't fit comfortably into my cabinet, or I don't want it to take up the whole space in the cabinet. Walk you through it. I hope that this will give you some new ideas or inspire you to get into either your cabinets or your cupboards, and just regroup and get your pantry organized. I will show you a picture of my spice drawer, and I think it's really important when you're organizing your pantry that you kind of keep those things out of the pantry and you keep them closer to your cooking area or your preps area, so that it's accessible to you. So I think that's all part of organizing and putting your pantry together. And also, one thing I want to mention is hanging these little hanging, I don't know what you want to call them. They're either for shoes, or they're just over the door hangers. You can either buy them that are wired. They're like racks, and then you can put cans on them, or you can hang something like a shoe hanger on the inside of your pantry if you just have an open and closed pantry, and you can put spice, little packages that you buy, or anything that's soft, or even, take certain snacks out and fill those little pouches. So you want to use that vertical space on your door's length, because I did that when I had not a walk-in pantry, but just an open cupboard pantry, and I hung one of those racks that I could put all my cans on there and line up my soup boxes and anything to give me more space. So utilize your space in your pantries or on your doors vertically. It really helps to get you more room inside your cupboard area. So let's just take a peek at my finished updo inside my pantry. I did add some large bins, those white baskets at the bottom, and I put them on top of stackers. Love it. And also spice racks that I joined together. There's 4 there on those shelves all the way across, and everything else I had. So hope you enjoyed this, and I'm glad to finally get back. I've been super busy helping them move, and then I went right into watching my granddaughter for 5 or 6 days because they had to travel out of state, and no time to do anything except get lots of kisses, hugs, and cuddles from her. Great time. I was totally exhausted by the end of it, but we had a lot of fun. And I will be posting at the end of the week, because I missed my morning Weight Watcher weigh-in meeting today, because today is Tuesday, just because I did oversleep. What can I say? I was exhausted, but I'm back now, and hope to give you a good report on that by the end of the week. So until my next video, be kind, be humble, and age gracefully. Bye.